So to this end, we're going to start with an exercise. So the guest speaker is part of an exercise this week, and we're going to hear from Brandon Boyd, and he graduated in 2020, and he graduated from your course, BA Media. And he's going to talk for 10 minutes or so about how he's developed his professional brand during his degree. And he's going to talk about the adaptations that he's made since he's been out there in the real world. And obviously that'll involve talking a bit about his career journey so far, and the ups and downs, which inevitably everyone will have. And so think about any questions that you might have to ask Brandon. He's very open, and he'll share all of his social media with you. I know that from when he was a student on this module and the previous one. So whilst he's speaking, you might want to think about what the exercise for the career plan, which is to write a reflection of 50 words, which summarises what you take away from this talk. So you might want to write some notes for that. Just to remind you as well that this talk is recorded, and I'll put it on now, and I'll edit it as well, so that it's just Brandon speaking, not all the waffle that we've gone through so far. And I'm going to put it on now, so you can revisit it, and it'll help you with this exercise. But before I just waffle on for too long, I'm going to ask Brandon to make himself known. So this is Brandon, and as I say, he graduated from the same degree course as you last year, into the COVID situation, which has all been very, very challenging for everyone, hasn't it? So I'm going to come off the camera now, Brandon, if that's okay with you.
That's fine. Yeah.
And I'll let you get on, and people will be thinking of questions. They'll put them in the chat, and then we'll bring them to you. If you want to answer questions as you go along, that's fine. If you want to keep them to the end, just make your own decision with that.
Yeah.
But thanks very much.
I just thought I'd firstly say hello. I think I recognise everyone, because obviously I came to one of your second year modules last year talking about, I don't know what I was talking about. I think it was the work experience. But yeah, in terms of what I've sort of done since graduating to now, and in terms of my entire sort of personal branding, I have changed everything quite a lot. Most noticeably, I've had a haircut too. It's not really got anything to do with personal branding, but I just thought I'd just plug that. So yeah, during my final year of university, obviously I was working towards my dissertation, doing all of my modules, and like Georgia said, sort of graduating into the coronavirus pandemic, and it has been incredibly tough, but I feel like as all the students and graduates, we sort of have to sort of stick together and try and make the best of a bad situation. So that's why, in terms for me and sort of my social media and personal branding, I've just continued to adapt things and change things. I mean, the smallest changes were sort of CVs and cover letters. So I've changed them about 3 times just to sort of highlight different things that I've done. And obviously job applications, I'm sure a lot of you will probably be applying for jobs soon, or already have started applying. And the thing for me is, and I'm sure you're probably all aware, the worst thing to hear is you've been rejected or you're not the right candidate. And that's happened to me since March of last year. I started applying for jobs before I even graduated, because I could sense that something was going to happen. In terms of LinkedIn, I have been using that literally every single day since my second year of uni, adding all my work experience, paid work, voluntary work, any extracurricular projects and that sort of thing. And I think I said it in a previous lecture, but I'll say it again. The people that I connect with are other students, so on the course or from different courses or the same course at different universities, any sort of lecturers, and then professionals in the industry or in the workplace where you eventually want to go. So for me, as a media with pathway student, which doesn't exist anymore, media production now, I connected with people at BBC, ITV, Channel 4, and all those other shows. And also, while I was at uni, before coronavirus, I sort of took advantage of networking, going to all sorts of events, and the one good thing about being able to do those networking things virtually is that you can attend things online. So on Teams, on Zoom, they're not obviously the same. You can't sort of shake people's hands, and it's not really the same, but you're still able to sort of network with new people, listen to people who are graduating or working in the pandemic, people that no one had any idea that this was going to happen. It's just how people have managed to deal with the bad experience. I mean, things like standard social media as well, things like Facebook, maybe not Snapchat, but things like Twitter, Instagram, definitely all things that you could potentially either start your own brand or present your brand on. So yeah, I know a couple of my friends that have started their own little businesses during the lockdowns and during the pandemic, like fitness things or DIY things. So just, yeah, you can build your brand in any way you can, any way you want. And I know a lot of people have created like CV Instagrams. So you create your CV, but you make it look pretty. You can add all sorts of designs and stuff, and that Instagram account is to sort of show that you are creative and applying for jobs and that sort of thing. Yeah, I mean, in terms of portfolios, like George was saying before, you don't need to create anything specific for this, but any sort of websites, any sort of content you've uploaded online, previous work, any work experience. It's quite funny actually, because coming back as a speaker as opposed to someone listening, every single session I used to attend, people used to say any work experience is good work experience. Doesn't matter if it's voluntary. It doesn't matter if it was for 1 day, 1 year. So yeah, any work experience sort of helps build your brand. And obviously being open-minded and just trying to just say yes to as many opportunities as you can is beneficial. I think, yeah, that's enough about the branding side. I thought in terms of explaining what I've done since uni, I feel like I haven't done very much, but at the same time, it feels like I've done a lot more than what I would have done if I would have just gone into a full-time job. So I'm from London, left Nottingham in July of 2020, came straight back here. Again, continued applying for jobs, continued getting rejections. So obviously there are ways that I've managed to adapt and change my CV, cover letter, those sorts of things. And obviously having my hair cut just makes me feel more confident. And obviously with restrictions, I couldn't go anywhere. So the only thing I could do was watch TV and apply for jobs. I had a full-time job for about a month for a construction company. I was doing admin in the office. I think that was from August till about September. But I realised my role was junior administrator, and they tried to just bombard me with too many extra tasks. So I ended up doing jobs for like 6 different people. So that particular role wasn't for me, but I still had a month's worth of experience, obviously a month's worth of pay, and that was before the pandemic got even worse. Should we say? So that was, yeah, towards the end of 2020. And then, yeah, obviously Christmas happened unsuccessfully. And then this year, again, continued applying for jobs, not really making progress. And yeah, I've been, from about January, I've just been adding to my websites. So during lockdown number, I think it was 2, I ended up making myself about 6 different websites. So in terms of being open-minded, I think just having 6 different websites for 6 different things. I'm not sure what happened there. So I've obviously got my just my general portfolio, a photography website, a video website, modeling website, and a blog. So blogging about all the different experiences I've had, the different talks I've gone to, different people I've met, and obviously coming out of the lockdown, just some of the things that I've done, like for my birthday and first day out of lockdown and those sorts of things. Yeah, and attending lots of sessions, and I have had some interviews. Again, it's the stage of you haven't got the job, but you haven't been declined, you're sort of in the middle. And yeah, I have a bit of good news. I am starting a temporary role tomorrow for about 2 or 3 months, depending on how long they want me for. But yeah, I feel like every time you get a rejection, there's going to be something good that happens. There was a quote somewhere, it was something like, for every shadow there's a new rainbow, or something like that. I don't know what the quote was. I'm not very good at that sort of stuff, but yeah. So yeah, in terms of personal branding, I would just say be as open as you can. Post whatever content you feel is relevant to you, your future career, your future aspirations. If you maybe enjoy taking pictures, do modeling pictures, photography pictures. If you want to go more into sort of TV, maybe making, I don't know, tips and tricks, trying to speak to people that are already in those industries, maybe filming little short videos, because obviously in lockdown, if you've got a phone or a camera and stuff, those sorts of things can come across quite creative. And yeah, just I feel like it's sort of accepting rejection and just thinking your time will come eventually. So yeah, I tried to cover quite a lot there. I am doing this all quite spontaneously as well. So if anyone has any other questions, I'm happy to answer anything. But I think that was more than 10 minutes.
That was great, Brandon. Yeah, great. I mean, a real overview of the sort of ups and downs you've been through. Can you just give us some hints as to what the latest role is? The temporary role.
So it's not. So the way I think about it, it's not a recruitment role. What I'm doing is I am doing admin stuff, talking to people that have been recruited for this company. I don't want to sort of give anything away, but it's
that's fine.
It's a well-known company. I'm
right.
Going to say
okay.
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a temporary admin sort of thing, doing calls and that sort of thing. So fingers crossed they like me. Fingers crossed it's permanent. But
right, good. Yeah. More questions, anyone? Put them in the chat, won't you? I've got a couple more questions. So what sort of jobs have you been applying for?
I'll be honest, everything.
I know.
And I think
that says Brandon to me.
But I think that's one of the things. I
remember you as being somebody who had a finger in every pie, every opportunity. You were really going for it all the time. And so you've gone for a lot of different things, yeah.
I think just through the pandemic, I just think the way I thought about it, I just thought I'm just another graduate who's got a degree, another graduate who's got a 2-1, and I have to just assume that I've got no experience. I know I've done some things. I'm obviously not like experienced, but I have done some interesting and unique things. They're all on my website if anyone wants to have a look. But just I sort of took it at the point of I have no experience. I might as well just apply for everything. And instead of my work experience helping me get the job, it's the skills that I've learned in all my other things. They will be the things that are beneficial to a role.
Right. Could you put your the link to your website into the chat? Is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And would people be able to link with you on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So my name on LinkedIn. Oh yeah, that was the main thing I forgot about my brand. So my name is obviously Brandon Boyd, but I have the brand name Is That Brandon. So I sort of have my two. That's my more media, online, creative side, and then Brandon Boyd is the professional office admin sort of suit and tie side. I like to be different. I've had it since I was years ago, since I was like 15, 14, something like that. So it's just like to differentiate two different people. And there's a rock singer who's got the same name as me, so I thought I'd rather just change my name. So when you Google search me, nothing about me comes up. It's all him. So I just find that quite interesting as well.
Well, that's a good hint as well, isn't it? It's a good tip for that sort of thing. So good. So there's your WordPress, your website there. LinkedIn is, what did you say? Is that Brandon?
It's just Brandon Boyd. I'll link.
Oh, Brandon Boyd. Yeah. If you could put that in, that'd be great. And it's okay for people to link in with you, is it?
I think I've actually connected with quite a lot of students as well. But I think it's good because it means that I can sort of the advice and tips I was given from graduates when I was a student, I can now sort of pass that on. So it's like we're just passing the baton to the other graduates.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great reason for you coming and speaking to our current students, and I really appreciate it. Just one more question from me, and unless there's any from the module, have you ever had any evidence that employers look at your profile before they go further?
Profile as in anywhere or just
Everything? Yeah.
I think LinkedIn, yes, because I've applied for jobs and I'm one of those people that at the beginning I used to write everything down, who the employer was, what the job was, what the company was. But because I started applying for too many, I thought, no, I'm just going to forget that. But for some of the recent ones, I would look at the job, look at the name, and with things like LinkedIn, it says, viewed your profile, and they would always view it, and then I would get an email. So I'd be like, okay, so you've had a little look at my profile. I've either got the right experience and then you've invited me to an interview, or you've seen maybe 4 things on there and then just rejected me. But yeah, I think that's a bad thing about companies, that then they don't even give feedback, whether it's good or bad. And that's what a lot of professionals have said to me, all people that work for all different companies. They've just said they cannot believe that companies are just not giving feedback. I would rather someone tell me you're not suitable than just ignore me, because I've put in that effort to apply for that job. And it's a difficult time for students, graduates, all young people at the moment. So I obviously I get it. I'm still here. But
yeah. No, that's really interesting about because you can tell on LinkedIn when somebody's looked at your profile, can't you? And I assume that they're looking at other things as well. I mean, it's quite well known that employers do look at you. They don't just look at your LinkedIn, but they look at your other social media, to sort of make sure that you're an all-round okay before they go.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things you touched upon when I was doing this module. I think the other module in second year. No, I think it was this module about, obviously, when you have like even just the profile picture, not you with a glass of wine or something, as much as people want to go on holiday, but more of like a just smart casual, something that can sort of, it can be smart casual. So maybe what you'd wear to like an interview. And I feel like you can either do it one of 2 ways. You can either make your social media professional and fun at the same time, where anything public is still seen as sort of professional, or you can have one social media profile which is mainly for your friends, your family, all the stupid stuff and all sorts of drunk videos or whatever, and then a separate one which is the more professional portfolio-y sort of side.
And lock it down, the other one down,
make it private. Exactly. I've got one of my own, I can admit that.
Right. I mean, as long as it's private enough, and it can be a real, I mean, I know of stories close to home of people whose social media profiles have let them down at the interview stage, or even when they were offered the job, and then they found when they were going for references, and they had a look at their profiles and sort of said, oh no, you're actually not one for us. So especially when it's in a sensitive area, media communications, PR, marketing, all of those sorts of areas, they're really important. It's really important that they get people who are upstanding citizens, and not irresponsible in lots of ways. I know nobody is here, but it's just the way that you present yourself is important, isn't it?
And it's scary, because the way I think about it is, if you're willing enough to put those sorts of things on your own social media, if you're able to take control of something more professional, you might think something's funny, but you might slip up, and obviously then it can never be removed. So it's just sort of just being careful. Like I've had my issues as well, not anything bad or negative or anything like that, but just having looked at all of my someone's at the door.
Yes.
But just having looked at my social media and sort of thinking, I don't really need these things on here, I can have them somewhere else, but just rearranging things, just making what is first seen the professional side.
That is somebody at my door, and it's a delivery, so I must go and get it. If people want to ask any questions of Brandon while I'm collecting my post, then I'll be back in a minute.
I think I recognise everyone from the second year session. I came in and spoke about something before I went to visit somewhere in Norfolk just before Christmas. But if anyone's got any questions about anything to do with the module or personal branding or CVs or anything, I'm in exactly the same sort of situation as you, just a couple of months forward. But I did take a gap year, so I'm technically the same age as everyone here. But I'm open to any questions if anyone's got.
Hi Brandon, how are you doing?
I'm not too bad. How are you, Katrine?
I have a question. If a job advert says that it is an entry-level job, right? But it says you need like a 2-3+ years of experience. What should we do then?
So entry-level job, 2-3 years of experience. I think for me, I would still apply for it. And sort of what I was saying to Georgia before, although you might not have the experience, speak about any societies you've been part of, any voluntary work you've done, any work experience you've done, and all the different skills you've learned from those. So what sort of entry-level job is it? What's specifically for? Katrin?
What's the question?
What specific entry-level job is it for? Like what's the role?
Oh, I was just asking like if there's like a media industry job like that, you know, they're looking for like I don't know, an officer to somewhere or something, then they usually have like a entry level and 2 to 3 years of experience.
Right. So yeah, then I would just say, I would say just talk about any experiences you've got, any work experience, any things you've done, and obviously you won't have the experience, but like I said, talk about the skills that you've learned. So if you've been part of any societies, if you've done any sort of customer service work, I think a couple of the big ones that employers are looking for, especially throughout the coronavirus, are things like communication. So whether that's communicating online through social media, being able to structure a proper email, which I couldn't do at one point, or being able to talk face to face with people, being able to take the initiative. And obviously, taking the initiative, sort of, someone can tell you how to do something or show you how to do it, and then you go on to do it, and just being able to work with other people. So I think if any sort of entry-level jobs that require more experience than you've got, speak more about the skills that you've got from other things with clear examples, and explain how you're sort of proactive, willing to learn, all the sorts of things they want to hear, but apply it to all the things that you've basically already done. And also research the company. That sort of helps. No point applying for a job at something like BBC and go, yeah, I'd love to work at Channel 4, because then they're going to just dismiss you straight away. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a good point as well. And you're mates, aren't you? I remember you were. I
was going to say, I recognise that voice.
yeah, Catherine. And also, you know, it depends what you mean by experience, doesn't it? You know, if they're asking for two years experience, it doesn't necessarily mean work experience. It doesn't mean experience of work or paid employment, does it?
Yeah.
You know, they're thinking about relevant experience in the area, which could include all sorts of things like, as Brandon said, you know, volunteering, especially through the pandemic, any volunteering that you've done, any community work, and even work experience, you know, that is mildly relevant to it.
I was going to say a couple of extra things that I would add on. These are a couple of examples that I've actually used in some of our applications. They sort of ask questions like, how many years experience do you have using the Microsoft Office packages? How many years experience have you had using the Adobe Premiere? And I've been using Premiere since year 12, I think. So since sixth form. So year 12, 13, gap year, first, second year and third year. That's about 6 years. So I always just say 6+ years. And obviously it's 6 years of experience. It could be basic, it could be intermediate. But the fact that they see more than 3 or more than 5, they'll go, wow, this person's got good skills or whatever. They might still not hire you, but at least you've showed them that you've got those skills. And obviously, sort of linking on to the question, I can see a question there. Even if you get rejected from that particular job, because you will be a memorable person, they could message you back in the next couple of months and go, oh, hi, you weren't successful for the role so many months ago. We've got a new role coming out, which is exactly how I got my temporary job tomorrow. Just some lady just reached out and I was like, I've seen you before. And then we just had a chat and she was like, okay, we'll take you on for a couple of months and just see how you do.
Sounds great. Yeah, well, good luck with that. That sounds great.
I'm very nervous.
Good opportunity. Oh, you'll do well. Carl's got a question. He's putting his hand up.
Oh, Lila's got one as well. Okay, yeah, either.
Oh, sorry,
Lila was actually before me.
Sorry, Lila. Let's ask Lila's question. Sorry, I thought you'd dealt with that while I was taking my shopping in.
Oh,
it's
no.
my birthday present, by the way,
Happy
to
birthday.
myself.
When?
Last week. And it's a printer that you can print with edible ink onto rice paper, because I do cake decorating as a hobby.
I think you've been keeping busy then.
Yeah, so I'm going to be doing some of that. Anyway, so Lila has a question. How long did it usually take to receive a response from an employer or recruiter?
Good question. I think it depends on the employer. I think for me, when I've applied for jobs on the weekend, it takes about a week, because obviously they go in, they're either working from home Monday morning or they're out somewhere, and I feel like they won't get back to you until the end of that next week, because they've got other things to do during the week, which is not very good, but that's just how it is. But I feel like usually for a lot of the jobs I've applied for during the week, it's been a couple of days, a week, couple of weeks maximum, I feel like. And I would just say, if you haven't heard back from them within 2 or 3 weeks, maybe chase them up with an email if there's an email, or directly call them, because then it shows you're proactive. And then again, if you don't hear back, just assume you've been rejected. You could make a note of those jobs or those companies and then try and apply for other roles, or sort of have your own blacklist of companies to not apply for again, because you don't want to be a second thought. You don't want to have applied and put all the effort into a job for them to reject you, for them to just go, oh yeah, we've got another job now. It's like, no, you've already rejected me once. I'm not going to go through that again. So I would say a couple of weeks. If it's longer than 3 weeks or a month, I would just assume the worst, which is not a bad thing, because they're missing out on your expertise and qualities. You're not missing out on theirs. So I hope that helps.
Okay, lovely. How about Kyle? Question.
Hi, Brandon. I think we've actually spoken on LinkedIn before about the website or something. It was the module where we had to make a website. I think I reached out to you because I'd seen that you'd made your own sort of thing. My question was in relation to, so in this module, I interviewed a lady that used to work at Impression, and she said that when she applied for jobs, she found that, obviously you said you got a 2-1. She said that by far recruiters look for people that have experience and a degree grade over someone that just got a good degree grade. And I was just wondering, you said you had experience in sort of like obviously loads of different things. On your CV, sort of just a rough idea, like what did you show primarily as your experience alongside your degree?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And I think, I feel like having a degree is great, but then a lot of people have a degree. So obviously having that experience alongside it does help. I was going to say, I recognised your little picture, so I think we have spoken. But so hang on, I can't remember what the question was. What sort of things did I add into my CV? I think for me, while I was studying, obviously it was pre-corona, I just sort of said yes to any opportunity. So when I created my first media specific CV, I added things like when I was interviewed, when I helped interview a couple of students from a different module, placements. So for your second year, I'm guessing you did your work placements or work experience, those sorts of things. I added all those on there. Luckily, before I came to university, I had a job before uni. So I've got any jobs. Like I said, it's the experience can be voluntary. It can be paid. But showing a variety of those skills. So jobs that have things like customer service, so waitressing, working in a nightclub, working in a cafe, where you're communicating with people, different groups of people, so admin, office work, secretary, any of those sorts of things, any interns and internships, all those sorts of things.
And Brandon, you did extracurricular stuff, didn't you? Germany, remember?
Yeah, I'm sure not everyone's going to be able to do that, especially now with the pandemic. But I'm going to have a look on my LinkedIn. So I just think any experiences that you do have, just put all of those on. Let me have a look. I can find it. Video projects. Like I said, interviews. A good one. For now, I think any like university projects, so any videos you've had to create, things you've been a part of. So it's sort of a mix of voluntary stuff, paid stuff, things that you've done at university, because at the moment they might to everyone here just seem like it's just a university project, but think about the skills you've put into it, any filming, any editing, having to communicate with people, collaborate with students you've never like met before or haven't really worked with before. So I'm just trying to look at my LinkedIn.
Did you say you found this role through LinkedIn as well?
I found what?
Did you say you found this role you're about to start tomorrow through LinkedIn as well?
So someone reached out to me on LinkedIn because I applied for a different job.
Yeah.
She rejected me for the first job, and then she said, "Oh, I specialize in just HR and recruitment." And then this was a couple of months ago, and this is what I'm saying. Although she rejected me, I completely forgot about her. She emailed me out of the blue and just said, "Oh, we've got this new role available for this company. Are you available? We think you're a good candidate." So, yeah, I think that's the thing. I would say definitely. I mean, I'm sort of going away from the question, but definitely reach out to people on LinkedIn. Although you may be rejected for one thing, just sort of the way I do it: apply for jobs. If you get rejected, forget about it, because if they know that you've got your skills and qualities, then obviously they will get back in contact with you. But yeah, hopefully that helps in terms of the experience. Just add anything that you've got, voluntary, paid, any work that you've done before uni, during uni, any of your projects, podcasts you've been on, interviews you've done, things you've collaborated on, or even I don't know, yeah, just all those sorts of things. And everything from sort of your second year module, you can sort of add bits of those.
Yeah.
And you produced a career plan like they're doing at the moment,
Yes.
didn't you?
I think I got a bit excited and did about 100 and something slides. You do not need to do 100 slides. Just do 40 or however many Georgia said. But yeah.
No, it was yeah. I mean, I think that's useful exercise whether you never return to it again or not. But
Oh, I loved it.
It's a good thing
brilliant.
to sort of set it out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think these two modules from last year and this year. I'm not just saying it because Georgia's here, but I think they were my two most favourite modules, because although it was obviously stressful getting everything together, like you even said, everything is now in one place. Obviously CVs have changed, obviously my website has changed, but just knowing that all of the things that make me are all in one place, and that's obviously the same for everyone else.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't panic, Catherine. There's no slap in it. Put the cat amongst the pigeons there. Right, fantastic. It's been brilliant. Thank you, Brandon. It's really appreciated. So if there's no more questions, I think we'll move on to the next thing, which what we're going to be doing, Brandon, is to look at each other's professional profiles and just see how people come across and how they might develop them in the future.
I don't mind staying for that if you want me to. I can be like the apprentice.
Oh, it'd be great if you could. If I can get you into the breakout rooms, if that works, then that'd be fantastic. I'd put you with somebody. So if you could, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much. And we'll move on to the next exercise.